okay. I haven't filmed in a while, so I'm a little rusty. That's okay. Hey, hello. It's good to see you. My name is Ivy. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to do a little get ready with me today, a chatty style get ready with me. I have just been in the mood to kind of catch up with everybody on here. It's been a couple weeks since I've had a chance to film, and the last video that you will have seen gone up was my spicy neutrals video, which I'm so glad that a lot of you are really loving that video. I love making those kinds of edits, and I'm definitely going to be doing more of those in the future. But today is just kind of like a chill, let's play with makeup hangout session. So if that sounds good to you, I would love to have you stick around and definitely give this video a like at the end if you think that it was fun and interesting and entertaining to watch. I love that and appreciate it. Thank you. I think that today I'm actually going to be using, by the time this goes up, you will have seen it hopefully on Instagram, a BYOP that I made with my friend Cassie, a makeup journey on Instagram. We were both inspired by a can of cider. I find inspiration in very random places. And I had purchased this really pretty can of 9-pin cider. It was a pink lemonade flavor. And we both thought that the can was really pretty and that the color story was really interesting. And so Cassie had the idea that maybe we do our own little color stories based on that together. And that's what we did. So I made this little 12-pan palette. I've been enjoying playing with this since I put it together. And yeah, I think that it's using a lot of actually newer shades to me in my collection, which I've been wanting to reach for. And it's very like vibrant end of summer kind of vibes. And also weirdly similar to the Oden's Eye Hella palette, if you've seen that before, and I do have that in my collection. After I put this together, I was like, oh, why does it look familiar? And it's because I have that palette. So I think I'm gonna play around with this today and a few other things that are just kind of askew on my vanity. I wanna talk about a few different things. I'm going to talk about some things that I'm seeing come up in the makeup community, topics that I just want to chat about, a TV show that I'm watching that I'm essentially live streaming my thoughts about on Instagram, and a very exciting new addition to our family that we recently welcomed. So anyway, let's get into the makeup look and let's get chatting. My skin has not been living its best life lately. I don't entirely know what's going on. It kind of feels like I have PMS skin, but all the time now. It's like I'll have a lot of breakouts that kind of come right around that time of the month, but then they start over and like I get more, it's not been fun. It's just been feeling like I'm regularly battling more kind of skin issues than I was for a while. So I'm considering seeing a dermatologist soon to just talk through options, but it hasn't been like the worst ever. I've certainly had far worse bouts of skin issues before, but it definitely has not been super fun either. But the good thing is that I have a lot of makeup, so I'm usually able to get my skin looking and feeling in a better place. I have definitely been rotating through a bunch of skin products, and today I kind of just want to go in with something light. So I'm going to use the Glossier Stretch Concealer. I have the shade G9. I think it's actually today that the brand is launching new versions of their stretch concealer, so more shades, and then a new foundation skin tint product called like Skin Stretch or Stretch Skin or Stretch, I don't know, whatever. I'll look it up after this video, but I'm pretty sure that that's going live today. I'm definitely interested because I've actually really gotten along well with the bulk of the Glossier products that I've tried. Some of their makeup color products I don't love, but most of the skin stuff and makeup that I have tried I actually really like a lot. And in particular, I have always liked the Stretch Concealer. I find that it is a really beautiful everyday level of coverage, and on my skin, it just makes it look more perfected without ever looking heavy, and I return to it frequently as like a favorite product of mine. But you can see that's just like one thin layer of product, and it already really helped my overall appearance of tone and evenness without having to do a lot of work, and I used very little product. I am gonna use the Make Skin Mimetic Concealer in the shade, I have two shades of this, but I'm going to use my lighter one, so 02 Fair N. This is a really lovely concealer, and again, for like light makeup days, or not even light makeup days, just days where I don't want to feel like there's anything super heavy on my skin, I frequently reach for this. I just really, really love how it looks on my skin, and I never really have issues with it. I have commented in the past that it's very, very light coverage, but it is buildable. Even if you're someone that leans towards slightly heavier coverage, I really think that you could still really enjoy this product. You just probably want to layer it up a bit more, but it layers beautifully. So there's been a couple of things recently that I feel like have kind of been making their way around the beauty community at large, and then sort of the more niche beauty community that I just wanted to chat about really briefly. The first being that if you're in the indie beauty community space and you love indie eyeshadow the way that I do, you may have witnessed this sort of like event around Terra Moons Cosmetics and a launch that they are planning with an influencer who many people that I follow in the community who love Terra Moons and have purchased a lot of Terra Moons, none of us had any familiarity with this creator that they decided they were going to do a collab with. And then I think once people started to look into this creator a bit more, they discovered some interesting viewpoints, is the way that I'll put it, from them that, you know, seemed to be more geared towards perhaps anti-vaccination. I'm trying to be purposely vague because, to be honest, I think that a lot of it is on the vaguer side. But suffice it to say, people looked into this creator, they were already on the fence about them, and then they found out all this stuff about them, and they were like, I like brand Terra Moons, what's going on here? And it took the brand a long time, but they finally made a public-facing sort of response to the backlash around this collaboration with this creator. And then there's now, of course, been this like backlash to that public response. I think a lot of people felt like the response was a little bit like shaming of people for bringing things to their attention, and that it was a little bit, what's the word? Like a little defensive. And then there were a lot of people that were coming into the comment section of the brand when people were sort of like coming and, you know, asking questions or, you know, refuting perhaps what was being said there, and then being attacked by people in the comments and being doxxed, and like all of this crazy stuff started happening. And I've chatted with a lot of creators about it, and it's been like kind of a mess. And I personally have tried my best to like comment about it, but also stay out of it, because I feel really in this weird space where I do not have a horse in the game. You know, like I've loved and really enjoy my Terra Moons shadows, but I'm not like a brand loyalist. And if there's something weird going on, I'll just put a pause on my spend and say, I'm not going to buy from you right now. And that's kind of where I'm at with Terra Moons, where I'm like, that's fine. If there's trouble a brewing or there's something that I don't vibe with, I'm just not going to purchase right now. But I'm also not there to tear the brand down. And but I think the most interesting thing perhaps is that since this entire ordeal, and since they publicly posted about this whole ordeal, the brand has gone totally silent on social, which is, of course, if you follow the brand, you would know that that's very abnormal, that they will have gone completely silent on their social media. So now there's a big question as to when they're going to re-engage with people, what they're going to do. Are they moving forward with this collaboration or not? But in the meantime, I'm sure that they're losing money, because I think a lot of people in the community that were heavy supporters of them are pausing on their support until they feel better about the situation. So that is interesting. And I personally feel like the brand is in somewhat of a no-win situation. Like, I think they absolutely could have done a better job of responding to the backlash, and I think they just didn't have a great PR strategy on the whole thing. But I think the fact that they decided to collaborate with this person in the first place, this person who has like 1.4 million followers, also says that the brand's priorities are about growth and about reaching a bigger audience and not as focused on their current core demo. If they were as focused on their current core demo, I don't think that that would have been a big collaboration that they would have done. They would have gone with a smaller creator who's like bigger in the indie community. And they didn't. All of that is to say that if I'm going to support a brand, I really want to feel good about it. And like, I do try to put my money where my mouth is. And so right now my money is not in Terra Moons' mouth. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I'm pausing right now because I just don't feel good about the whole situation. And we'll see what they do. I'm curious how they respond, etc. But anyway, I was going to do my new bronzers from Phytosurgence. These came in the mail a couple weeks ago. I have the shades 3 and 4. 3 is Golden Warmth and 4 is Rosy Warmth. I really love both. I've been playing with both. I've been using both. I think today I'm actually going to go with Golden Warmth shade 3. And I, again, have really been enjoying both. I demoed them on my Instagram stories at some point, and I have a post about them. I find that the texture is really great. It's still a very dense packed product, but it picks up super well with a big fluffy brush like their Sky Fluff, and then it applies so beautifully to the face, like you'll see. But you know, it's a very easy to blend out, natural looking bronze, and that is what I look for and what I like. Up until now, when I picked these up, I was using my Makeup by Mario cream bronzer, and I was really enjoying that one too. In fact, I was almost done with it, but then these came along and kind of knocked it out of the running, where I just felt like I was getting way more of a beautiful finish from this product than I actually was from the Makeup by Mario. I find that I was a little dewy with the Makeup by Mario one, which again, overall, I really actually liked, but now the Phytosurgence ones, I just think strike that balance of radiance with a little bit of mattifying better. And their colors are extremely nuanced and beautifully formulated. And so between the Golden Warmth and the Rosy Warmth, I'm very happy, I'm very pleased. And I don't really feel the need to keep using the Makeup by Mario one at this point. Anyway, that was shade 3 Golden Warmth, just a little bit kind of all over my face. And I do find that their Sky Fluff brush is one of the best ways to apply that. What was I talking about? Let me remember. Oh yes, I was talking about Terra Moons. So that was one of the beauty community things that was going on that I just, I really hated to see how it infiltrated the community so much in such a negative way. It kind of took people's happy place and made it very stressful and sad, which is unfortunate. Yeah, the whole thing top to bottom just kind of disappointed me. But I'm also, like I said, I don't have a horse in this race, and my opinion is that you have the opportunity as a consumer to use your wallet as your voice. And so if you're not happy with what you're seeing, don't buy from them. And that's kind of where it starts and ends for me personally. But I did want to comment on it because I thought that the whole situation was sort of interesting and very sad. And the other thing that's coming up in the beauty community, and I actually just saw a video about this from Tom, Hautemess Tom, one of my all-time favorite people, I'm a fangirl / I consider them a friend. They just posted a video about consumerism in makeup, like specifically in the makeup community, the shame that can come along with what is sort of, I would say, a almost overly natural process of like, if you start falling in love with the beauty community and you start following creators and you start purchasing makeup, you can very quickly see how that can kind of grow and get out of hand and turn a hobby that you love into a financial issue or a overconsumption issue or an addiction issue. And I just think that everything that they said was so just perfect. Like they just said it so well, really hit the nail on the head as far as a lot of the things that I have felt over the years of being a beauty fan, a beauty consumer, and now a beauty content creator. I feel all of those things. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail about their whole video. I will definitely link it below and suggest that you watch it because it is wonderful. And again, says everything that I would wanna say. But the one thing that I wanted to add, I think, to that conversation is your own personal journey is your own personal journey. And I think that a lot of what ends up happening as far as people's needs to purchase more, with perhaps a larger veracity or more frequency, often comes from comparing yourself to other people. And the truth is, you have no idea what someone else on the internet's life looks like. You don't know what their finances are. You don't know what their life obligations are. You don't know what their job is necessarily. You don't really end up knowing extremely little about people's lives. And so there is no good that can come from comparing whatever you're feeling, experiencing, doing to someone else. And I know that when you are a beauty lover and you're seeing people that you love and follow seemingly get all of these purchases and new releases, it can just instill in you this feeling of like, well, then I have to. Why not me? I need to keep up. I need to keep up. And it's just this vicious cycle of comparison, fear of missing out, the need to sort of feel included. It's a really bad cycle. I feel like the system as it stands is designed for people to fail in the sense that you're always going to have the same kind of impulses. You can work on controlling them, but you don't want to take something that you really enjoy and constantly associate it with negative things or things that make you feel bad. You also don't want to engage in behavior that makes you feel guilt and shame and puts you in any kind of financial difficulty. There's just this push and pull within that space that I think, like I said, is somewhat designed for people to fail. And I just wanted to acknowledge that I myself, I've talked about this a lot, actually. I struggle with the same things that Tom was talking about. I've struggled with the same things that Tom is talking about. I know a lot of you have too. It's okay to acknowledge that that exists. It's okay to say that you don't necessarily have all the answers. It's okay. And this is a safe space. And I feel like as long as you can kind of acknowledge things for yourself and bring yourself into a healthy mental space about it, to at least be open with yourself about what you're struggling with, you can always make progress. You can always do better. You can always make inroads. And that's what I'm hoping to do by, continuing to be aware of it, talk about it, think about my consumption, and think about what my relationship with products and makeup and this community is. So I'm not trying to make it a negative place for me. I'm not trying to judge every move that I make with such harsh criticism. Oh my God, I just sounded like Moira Rose. But I am trying to just be more conscious and aware. And again, I think Tom's video was a perfect example of doing that in such an eloquent way. And it is definitely a video that I will go back and rewatch when I'm maybe going through my own tough moment or struggling with what my conscious consumerism looks like. I don't know that I'm not necessarily adding to the conversation in a big way. I'm more just trying to reaffirm everything that they said and say that I feel the same way. And I'm here to have that conversation with you if you want to. I'm also here to just talk about things that make you feel good and not make you feel guilty if that's something that you want to engage with, because I don't know what your circumstances are and you don't know what my circumstances are. And so you kind of just have to accept that you're going to do what you want to do and you're going to hopefully try to be healthy about it. And I'm here to support that journey for you, whatever it looks like, and provide information for you that hopefully brings you joy and entertainment and all of that good stuff, but doesn't necessarily lead you down a path where you feel like you've bought way too much makeup. Hopefully we don't get to that place and we stay in like a healthy, happy place. Does that make sense? Okay, so far I'm doing a lot of chatting and not a lot of makeup, which tends to be what happens with me when I do a get ready with me or a chatty get ready with me, as I just lose track of what I'm doing. I'm just putting a little bit of powder under my eyes and around my nose. Let's start playing around with this eyeshadow palette. So I did a look already think it was yesterday, with a lot of the greens and like one of the yellows, that I really liked how that came together. I think today I want to go more in the pink, red, yellow, orange realm. Maybe go with my shirt a little bit. I'm gonna start with like a big fluffy brush and just kind of lay down some of this matte red shade. This is, what is this shade called? This is Adrenaline from Dandelions Cosmetics. By the way, by the time this goes up, the Instagram post with all the details about what's in this palette will be live. I'll also put the shade names and everything in the description box if you're curious. So yeah, I'm just keeping things really loose today, and I want to go bold with the color, but I don't necessarily want to go super hyper graphic or anything like that. I mean, I rarely ever do that anyway. Like, I'm just not a big graphic girl. Not a big graphic girly. Next, I wanted to talk about a TV show. To know me is to know that I love a good TV show, and I started getting served ads for this show the summer I turned pretty, which is originally based on a book series by author Jenny Han. I know Jenny Han from To All the Boys I Loved Before book series, which I did read. Did not read the Summer I Turned Pretty series, but I really like Jenny Han, and I had just heard a podcast interview with her that was really great on Podcrushed, so I'm a fan of hers. I was vaguely aware that this show existed. I did not realize her involvement was as like a creator and a showrunner, so that she's like hyper involved in it. And I also didn't realize that it was in its second season. So I just started getting served ads for it. It looked vaguely interesting to me. And then I just put out a call on social and I was like, hey, do I know anyone watching the show? Boy, oh boy. Turns out a lot of you watched the show and had very strong feelings about it, mostly positive, and you guys were all like, yes, you should watch it. So I have started watching it. I didn't realize there were 2 seasons until I started, so I am in the middle, towards the end of season 1, and I realized also, I think it was like 1 episode in, that it's a teams show. And by teams show, I mean that you're like, you're team Jeremiah, you're team Conrad, you're team whoever the heck. And I love a teams show. I love picking teams. I talked about this on Instagram as well. I love picking teams. I love a teams show. And I was very excited at the prospect of engaging in a classic love triangle scenario. I just thought that sounded really fun and frivolous for the end of summer. So yes, I have started watching, like I said, almost done with season 1, and I have lots of thoughts and feelings. First off, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I really don't know how else to say it. I guess I thought it was going to be on the level of To All the Boys I Loved Before, which I did watch on Netflix. And not that that wasn't good. I really liked it and enjoyed it, but you know, it had a very rom-commy quality to it. This is better. This is better. It's still got like a level of charm to it, but it really isn't cheesy, or at least so far it's not super cheesy. They're playing into a lot of traditional love triangle tropes and stuff, but I've found it to be way more natural and authentic, well acted, well shot, well delivered than anything that I kind of thought it was going to be. It's like if you took Dawson's Creek and Gilmore Girls and you made it with very relatable dialogue instead of insanely verbose dialogue, that's the show. It's got all those elements that you love of like really intense, interpersonal relationships between young people and lots of like, drama and all this stuff, but in the most relatable, natural way. Like people talk the way that we talk. They don't talk in this crazy way. And it also doesn't feel like a millennial trying to speak like a Gen Zer. It feels very natural and authentic, which makes me think that the actors must have maybe a larger hand in some of the lines and like delivery. It just kind of feels, I don't know, it's just good. It's just really good. So I was really happy and surprised to see that it was better than I expected. And then on top of that, as I started to listen to the show, I was like, man, the music is really good. There's a lot of Taylor Swift, all well and good, you know, love me some Taylor. I think that Jenny and whoever the music supervisors are on the show are really going back, like going deep into the archives, and they are pulling out the songs from those moments that I had in middle school and early high school that they were just like pivotal songs for me. I just it's been emotional where I've been watching it and just been like hearing songs that I haven't heard in a long time, and they take me right back to that time, but it's making it contemporary because the show is not like dated. The show is like very now, but they're using a lot of older songs in it that are just from my time as a kid. And so I'm super just like, I've just been really emotional. Really like the music, really like the overall vibes. I think the casting is phenomenal. I love Lola Tung as Belly, the lead character, Isabel. She's got such presence without feeling forced. She's extremely beautiful while still feeling very like natural and approachable, and you can see why people like her and people are drawn to her. You can totally get it, because I'm like, yeah, dude, I want to be friends with this girl. She seems awesome. And the boys are very cute. I know everybody's been asking me like, what team am I on? The short answer is that I cannot answer that at this time, because I don't think I've seen enough to really know my true feelings. All I can say is that I'm Team Belly, and whatever she decides, I'm kind of going to get on board with. Conrad is very attractive. He's very typical moody, broody typey guy, and that often has a very that has like a strong appeal or charm. He's clearly intelligent, which again also brings a lot of charm. Like there's a lot of him that reminds me of Jess from Gilmore Girls, who is my ultimate, like I love him. So there's a lot there that feels similar. But he also feels like he's being needlessly messed up to her frequently in the show, where you're just like, I don't know why you're being such a dick. I think you learn more and more why he's having such a hard time, and that sort of, you know, comes to light as you watch. But initially you're just like, this guy just seems like an asshole, and like I don't know why she would want to hang out with him, but he's really cute, so you do get it. You get it, especially if it's like a character that she's supposed to have been in love with for all of this time. And then the other brother, Jeremiah, I am very puzzled by that by his character. He's acted really well by the person who plays him, where he's super charming and likable, but he also feels like he's so easy breezy in a way that I truly don't think is that typical for boys that are supposed to be that age, like 17-year-old boys. Like most guys are probably somewhere between Jeremiah and Conrad, where they're a little bit lighter and a little more pep in their step, like party, hang out, chill guy. But they're also a little bit troubled and have trouble communicating their feelings, and so you don't often understand why they're making certain choices. Somewhere in the middle between Jeremiah and Conrad is like your typical 17-year-old boy. And right now they're so apart from each other that I just don't know. And then don't get me started on Cam Cameron, because whatever. Anyway, I'm talking a lot about this show just because, as you can tell, it's really kind of struck a chord with me. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I've been really enjoying it so far. I can't wait to watch season 2 when I finish season 1. And I'm glad that there is apparently going to be a season 3. And I'm very happy for Jenny Han, who I think it's clear that she worked super hard on this show to bring it to life. And it's awesome. It's really, really good. And I'm enjoying it. And yeah, I will keep you posted as I develop my thoughts about my quote-unquote team. But at the moment, I'm just really vibing with Belly, and I'm sort of like, well, whatever she wants, whatever makes her happy will make me happy. I will just say one last thing. I'm not attracted to Jeremiah as a, you know, like a personal thing. It's just like, I'm like, no, not for me. But Conrad's cute. So I might default to Team Conrad just for that reason alone. But anyway, we'll see where it goes. Okay, I'm just kind of like starting to finger paint a little here and get messy. I'm putting on the shade Ohana. This is a Luxie Beauty shade. I actually had this shade before and then I lost it because it fell apart and shattered, but in a way that I could not save it. So I had to repurchase it because I really do like that shade a lot. And I didn't want to not have it in my collection. So I repurchased it. Anyway, let me actually like zoom you guys in a little bit so you can get a little more view of the eyes. All right, we're zoomed in a little more. I am getting super messy, mostly because I'm just getting into my conversation and not paying attention to my makeup as much. I'm gonna layer up next another Luxie shade. This is the shade Fruit Punch, which was not part of their recent launch, but like the one before. And it's definitely the shade from that launch that I found maybe the most disappointing from Luxie, just because I felt like it's a very sort of like one note shimmer. It's supposedly got a little bit of orange. I mean, you can see it. It has a bit of an orange flip to it, but it's so subtle that it really reads more as like just a straight pink. And I didn't quite see the use for it in my collection, but I actually like it more than I thought I would, because in light of all of the sort of resurgence of pink, thanks to the Barbie movie, I've been playing with pinks a lot more, and it's actually really pretty pink. If you're gonna wear a pink, it's not a bad pink to have because it leans light pink, but because of those orange sparkles, it can kind of take you in this like hot, heat, warm direction that doesn't feel like too pink, if you know what I mean. Next, I'm gonna go into the inner corner with the shade Fata Morgana. This is a Shine by SD Seeking Shifts Earthborn collab shade. I, at this point, have all of the shades from that collection with the exception of Fauna, which I have every intention of picking up at some point because I love green. I just haven't done it yet. Don't ask me why. It's not because I don't want it, because I definitely do, but I'm gonna wait to pick it up at some point. Okay, it's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. I can't handle it. Oh, it's so pretty. That is Fata Morgana. I think I'm actually gonna take a little bit of like a fluffy brush and just start to blend out some of the gradient at the top here, just to keep things looking smooth. It's a little hard for me to see in my mirror because it's a little far away from me, like how blended things actually are, but I'm hoping they're relatively okay. And I'm adding back a little bit of that matte red shade as well, just to the outer corners. I think now that I've done that kind of overall gradient on the top, I want to actually go in on the bottom with some more of the yellows from the palette that I have. I'm really wishing actually that I had included a matte yellow, but I didn't. So I'm not going to cheat and add one in. I'm just going to use what's here, but like, just know that I wish that I had that. That would have been good. I'm gonna go in next with the shade Twinkle from Glaminatrix. This is a really beautiful shifty yellow, like shifty green kind of color, and I'm gonna put that kind of all under the lid, and I'm gonna accent it with a little bit of another Luxie shade called Sour Lemon, which is not a matte shade, but it's more of a satin shade compared to Twinkle, which is very sparkly. And I'm gonna take Sour Lemon and build that on the outer corner here. So you can see it'll start to get a little orangier because it's kind of mixing with some of the reds. I like to really define my outer corner. And typically I will use like a winged liner as well, because again, I just like to extend my eyes and elongate my eye shape. But sometimes I just do it with shadow. Let me clean up a little bit. Let me zoom you out, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up the rest of the makeup because I've been blabbing a lot. So I think I actually want to add one more shade. This is the Shadow Duchess by Cleona. I just got this shade and it's been on my wish list for a really long time. It is this beautiful sea foamy kind of light mint green with this light pink sparkle shift to it and silver sparkles. And looking again more at the look, I feel like I'm already kind of getting a little bit of that minty feeling happening with the other shade that I pulled in, that yellow twinkle shade from Glaminatrix. And I kind of want to go even greener and just add a little bit of Duchess. Let's do mascara. I'm still using and still fairly obsessed with my Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. I know that I've spoken about how sometimes that mascara can kind of go a little wonky on you after a while, but in truth, it's still my favorite mascara of the moment. I just love how it makes my lashes look. So that is what I'm going to use today. Last thing that I wanted to talk about is a new addition to our family. So we have a dog. Her name is Birdie, and she is about 7 years old. And we adopted her when she was 7 months old, and we love her dearly. And when we moved to this house, it's quite a bit bigger than our old house, and the property is a lot bigger than our old house. And so we finally realized that we could entertain the idea of having a second dog. And, over time, Birdie has proven that she's not always the easiest dog as far as other dogs. Like, she definitely gets along with other dogs, but she also has had run-ins with other dogs that she doesn't like. She's kind of triggered by like small little white dogs, and she doesn't do well in big group dog settings. So we knew that it could possibly be a journey to like finding the right, partner, playmate for her. And we started to do a little bit of looking, and we ended up finding a listing on Pet Finder for a dog nearby us at a rescue that just instantly, I just saw her face and I was like, oh, I love that face. And she was a 5-month-old puppy. And she had come from Pennsylvania, and the rescue was basically like, why don't you come meet her, maybe foster her for a little while and see how she fits with your family. We decided to go ahead and move forward with fostering and brought her home. Her name when we picked her up was Maisie, but we very quickly wanted to change it because our dog Birdie, we felt Maisie and Birdie maybe a little too close together. And as soon as we saw her, my husband was like, I feel like she looks like a maple. Like, the name Maple fits really well. She's got kind of maple in her coloring, and it was different enough in sound from Birdie, but also close enough to her original name that we thought it would be like a good transition for her to be called that. And so we immediately started calling her Maple and brought her home. And it has been a journey. It has been a journey ever since. I have gone through a lot of ups and downs and feelings about it as we have had her for the last 3 weeks. It has not been like this. It hasn't been like this. It's been like this. Like, whoa, how are we feeling? How are we? Part of the reason for that is that we were fostering her when we got Birdie, and this was before we had our son. She was our only thing, right? She was like our biggest responsibility. She was the only thing we had to pay attention to. And it was just all about her. And life is not like that anymore. We're talking about having an animal come in and having to fit within our life. And so there was a lot of just questioning about, was the responsibility of taking on a puppy at this age going to be something that we could actually physically and emotionally do with all of the other stuff going on in our lives. I don't want to go into all the details. I'll just say that it was a little stressful and it was very touch and go. But thankfully we were able to connect with a trainer, and that trainer was able to give us a lot of insight and tips and tricks on how to move forward with Maple and what we could do and how we could navigate crate training and how we could navigate the attachment anxiety and all of these things that just made it feel so much more approachable, and also just gave us permission to like do things that we thought we weren't supposed to do. And we once we had that permission, it changed the game. It just made it feel like we could do it. And then I really started to just not only enjoy her, but fall in love with her, you know, where I went from really being on the fence to being like, I don't think she can go anywhere. Like, I just love her too much. And she is such a sweetheart. I'll put photos of her up so that you guys can see, but she's a love. She's a lanky, skinny, sweet, soft little lovey girl, and she's so joyful and she's so happy. She's a pack member. And so we did make the decision officially this week that we are adopting her and that she is not going anywhere. She's going to be our new family member. That is Maple's origin story. I want to say a thank you here to all of my peeps on my close friends list on Instagram, because a lot of you have been so influential in how I sort of navigated a lot of the stresses in these last few weeks with introducing this dog. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who like reached out, responded, gave me tips and tricks and advice on dealing with a puppy, adding a puppy to a home with an existing dog, you know, how you navigated certain training issues. So like, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. I need to figure out blush and lipstick. I'm gonna go look in my drawers over there, pick some stuff out, and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I think I'm gonna go kind of peachy actually for the rest of the look. So I'm pulling out another Phytosurgence product. This is their blush in the shade Ember. It's a really beautiful tawny kind of peach shade on me. And then I am pairing it with an oldie but a goodie product from a brand that I don't know that they exist anymore, or if they do, I certainly haven't purchased from them in a long time, but it is called Red Earth. And they came out with these happy hour lip tints. And this is in the shade, I forget what it's called, Georgia Peach. There you go. This is in the shade Georgia Peach, and they're kind of those like moussey lip blur type products. And I've had this one for a really long time, but I really like this shade. So we're going peachy, and I'm going to use my Sky Buff brush from Phytosurgence with the shade Ember, and just kind of dot that around on my cheeks. And I'm going pretty liberally with the blush. I'm not doing peach girl, strawberry girl, whatever the F you want to call it, makeup, but I am okay with looking a little sunburned as long as it's not a real sunburn. So I'm gonna kind of give myself the look of that I had a lot of sun on my face, and hopefully that helps balance out how kind of sparkly and pink the eyes are. I don't really know the technical way to like blush drape. I haven't done a lot of that, but I feel like this is kind of in that camp, right? Or maybe blush draping is when you use more than one color together to get a blush effect. I don't know. Hit me up in the comments what blush draping is. I have no idea. Clearly, I am not a makeup guru. Or not that kind of makeup guru. Okay, I'm getting really shiny, so I'm definitely going to need a little bit more powder. But before I put on any powder, I'm going to use that Happy Hour lip tint. Again, this is in the shade Georgia Peach. Yeah, so the way I like to do it is put it in the middle of the center of my lips, and then use my finger to blend it out. Again, these are that kind of like silicone feeling, creamy, moussey lip product that gives you that super blurred lip effect, which I really like. I am going to go in with a little bit of powder on top, and I think I'm going to use just a little bit of the setting powder from my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit, just because it still has some luminescence to it, but it's definitely going to help with areas where the shine has gotten a little bit out of control. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. All right, here's the finished look. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's really pretty. It's very messy, but that was very much what I was going for, so I'm cool with that. And I really do like the blend of these pinks and reds together. I think the only thing that I really feel like I'm missing that I wish I had included in this palette was a matte yellow. I just feel like that it's missing from this. Other than that, this is a really fun palette, and I'm really excited that I built it. and I am excited to play with it more. So again, I want to say thank you to Cassie for suggesting that we do this. And you should definitely go to Instagram and check out her post as well on her version of the palette inspired by the 9-pin cider. It's really beautiful, so go check it out. And yeah, I know this was a rambly get ready with me. I really just had things that I wanted to chat about and kind of gab on, and I would love to hear from you in the comments if you have anything to add to my one-sided conversation on any of those topics. I hope you guys are having a great end to your summer if you're in my time zone, part of the US. If you're in Australia, then I hope you're having a wonderful winter. But yeah, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to film and share more with you guys. If you did like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave. I would really love to have you stick around. I appreciate the support so much, and that way I can see you in the next one, which will hopefully be really soon. All right, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.